Wonderful morning, dear viewers, wherever you are watching us from, wherever you are watching Lumen TV from, be it on Facebook, on YouTube, or indeed in your house on your television set. You are welcome to Lumen this day. My name is Sydney Mwamainda. Again today, dear viewers, we bring to you some exciting news stories which we are here to dissect. Joining me is, people would say, the usual suspects. Grace, welcome to the program.
Thank you so much, Sydney. Good morning.
You like to start very low when me, I'm there.
Thank you so much, Sydney. Good morning. No, it's great, because I'm telling to, I don't want to smile, so I'm trying to keep it cool. Good morning, our viewers, and how are you doing?
Because you don't want to take your grandmother back to school.
Not really. You've seen I've started smiling. I said I don't want to smile. So yeah, good morning, our viewers. How are you doing?
Okay, Vincent, welcome to the program.
Thank you so much, Sydney, and good morning, viewers. Stay good to the show.
Which story are you salivating at?
Well, I think all the stories are good, and I think we are geared to talk about them.
Would you take your grandmother back to school?
Well, unfortunately, I don't have a grandmother. Yeah, but I think
old mother,
an old mother back to school. I think at the end of the day, it has to come from her, because really, I mean, what is it that she's going to learn, and what is it that she wants to achieve at the end of the day? Because I think what is more important is what that school will do to her. Sometimes people would say, I want to go to school just to learn to speak the Queen's language. But others, they will go to school to learn the mathematics, maybe the geography, the science, and so on, which will help them in maybe future and so on. So I think at the end of the day, it is what is it that you want to do with your school?
Okay, so Vincent, before you preempt one of our beautiful stories that we are looking at today of a woman who is 51 years old has decided to get back to school. So that is one of the stories, dear viewers, that you can contact us on, the numbers on the screen, and make your views known about this discussion. It's been a debate for a long time. Some people say school ends, other people say school does not end, but what is your take? But to start with, we'll look at a story that we colleagues had last time, where we saw Caritas Zambia in southern province giving some foodstuffs. They're still doing that, but today we are privileged to have one of the officers from Caritas Zambia who is on the ground, the name of Eugene Ngandu, the program officer for livelihood and climate change, that we will be speaking to, and to try and get the background of what Caritas Zambia is doing. Concerns are always there that why give food to people instead of teaching people ways and means. Eugene, welcome to Lumen this day. We are told you are in the Diocese of Monze, where you are doing some on a livelihood program, some humanitarian type of work where you're distributing food. Can you kindly tell us, what is it really that you are doing on the ground?
Thank you so much. Yes, I will confirm that I'm in the Catholic Diocese of Monze. So we came here for a post-distribution monitoring visit. As you are aware, Sydney, in October of 2023, the Zambia Meteorological Agency, the Met Department rather, predicted that we were going to have an El Nino, which was going to influence the rainfall pattern in the 2023-2024 farming season. And as predicted by the Met Department, we experienced an El Nino, which is basically a climatic phenomenon which influenced the rainfall pattern, causing a drought last year. So on the 29th of February 2024, if you remember, the president declared a national disaster.
Yes.
So coming from that, the church did not just sit back. So as Caritas Zambia, Caritas in Zambia, including the dioceses that were affected, we went on the ground to mobilize some resources. These resources were going to go and assist communities that were affected in these particular communities. So Sydney, Caritas in Zambia has been responding to the drought in mainly two dioceses, which is the Catholic Diocese of Monze as well as that of Livingstone. So in Livingstone, we are doing a multi-purpose cash transfer in Nakatindi, Katimamulilo, Luampungu, other communities are Imusho and Mulimambango. So these basically are some of the catchment areas where we did our multi-purpose cash transfers. Here where I am in the Diocese of Monze, mainly it is in Zimba and Kalomo district under the Matadei parish, and the Diocese of Monze has been doing food distribution in far-fetched places. As far as Kamukeza at the border, almost at the border with Zimbabwe, Chalimungela, Chilove, Mbwiko, and the Mulamfu areas. So basically that is what we are doing here in Monze.
Okay, Eugene, why in particular Monze and Livingstone dioceses, and yet we have many other dioceses?
Okay, thank you for that, Sydney. I think, like I earlier alluded, as a result of the negative impact of the drought that was experienced in the 2023-2024 farming season, we did rapid needs assessment, and those also were consistent with the drought response plan that the government also came up, and it was discovered that we had 84 districts that were heavily affected, and among those districts that were heavily affected, we had those under the Diocese of Monze, and also mainly those under the Diocese of Livingstone. And also maybe just to mention that when we mention of the Catholic Diocese of Livingstone, we know that it extends actually to Western Province in the political geography.
Mm-hmm.
So, but this is not to say that Caritas Mongo also was not targeted, but I think there were other interventions that went there through other partners such as CRIS, which is basically Caritas as well, and also even Caritas Mongo itself has been responding there.
Mm-hmm. Eugene, one would argue to say food when given to people is something they eat once off, and even the cash, some people will just buy food and it ends there. But we are talking climate change, meaning that these are things that you will stay for a long time. So what is it that you are doing in order to make people live a sustainable kind of life?
Thank you so much, Sydney, for that. And I think I agree with you. And even as Caritas in Zambia, I think we believe in zero handout.
Mm-hmm.
So we believe in training people, capacity building the communities so that they can stand on their own. But I think from the onset, like I alluded to, we're in an emergency. And in an emergency, it means that people needed life-saving interventions. So those life-saving interventions included providing food to people. And in other communities, for example, under the Diocese of Livingstone, where people still had functional markets. So by functional markets, what we simply mean is you go to the shop and you still find the commodity available. So in those particular communities and those that were assisting us to respond to those communities, like Kiev, which is basically Caritas Scotland, their priority was to provide multi-purpose cash transfer so that people could purchase whatever it is that was life-saving at the time that they needed, whether it was food or whether it was probably for young girls, sanitary towels in the home, but then it was giving them an opportunity to do that. So basically, this was life-saving, and we were in an emergency. And during an emergency, you don't give people a fishing rod. In that particular moment, you have to give them fish so that they can feed. Mm-hmm. Then tomorrow, you train them on how they can sustain themselves better, not to go into a situation that they found themselves in. So I think that is what I can say with regard basically giving them a fishing rod and giving them fish. But this particular moment, we're in an emergency, and during an emergency, you basically provide people with life-saving food, as well as, for example, the multi-purpose cash transfer that we were providing under the Diocese of Livingstone, Sydney.
Okay, Eugene, just to conclude, how many people approximately have you helped so far or put smiles on their face? And kindly end with your message on sensitizing people on climate change.
Okay, thank you so much. So basically, under the Diocese of Monze, we're reaching out to 1,000 households. But then, Sydney, this is support that was coming through the national office, which is Caritas Zambia. But suffice to say that the Diocese of Monze has also gone far and wide to mobilize resources and have reached out to a number of more communities with this support. But for what I've come here to do in terms of my post-distribution monitoring visit, I was looking at 1,000 drought-affected households. Mm-hmm. We're targeting 2,850 households with multi-purpose cash transfers. As Caritas in Zambia, through the drought response and emergency appeal that we had in 2024 farming season, which we respond to more than 5,950 direct beneficiaries, and in terms of indirect beneficiaries, we have reached out to more than 35,000 indirect beneficiaries in their households. Mm-hmm. So meaning that the people that are receiving this commodity and together with the people that they live with. So under the Diocese of Monze, basically also in terms of just letting the viewers know, in terms of the entitlement, we're giving a bag of milli meal, 25 kg breakfast of milli meal, a 10 kg of soya blend, then also 5 kg of beans, what we're giving the commodity in terms of commodity. So in terms of climate change, my message to the viewers is that climate change is real. And more and more we're seeing the impact of climate change in various sectors, and it affects children that are going to school, it affects the farmers, it affects even the transport sector. Right now we're experiencing load shedding across the country, and it is as a result of climate change, because as you are aware, Zambia heavily relies on hydroelectric power. So if it doesn't rain, it means that we have a huge challenge. What I would urge people is also to adapt. As Caritas Zambia, we promote adaptation. In agriculture, we promote what we call agroecology.
And Livingstone.
Thank you so much, Sydney, and also for according us an opportunity to interact with yourselves as well as your viewers. Thank you so much.
Most welcome. Dear viewers, that was Program Officer, Livelihood and Climate Change, Caritas Zambia, Eugene Ngandu. Colleagues, along some interview there, but I think it was worth taking it, because last time we ended with a lot of questions, trying to understand what is happening. But maybe from there, let us move on to the story we opened with. Let's see a clip. I think it will be cut. It will not go up to the end, so that we can have our own comments and reviews of it, of a woman aged 51 who has decided to get back to school.
She made a decision a few years ago that she wanted to go back to school. Just like that, she is now in her final year of secondary school. Fale Skafula 51 says the journey has not been easy.
We have many challenges like transport coming from here at my place to go to school. Sometimes I walk from here to Highlands. Sometimes I reach here at 20 hours. Then it gives me a big challenge when studying because my brain is already tired.
But with determination, Ms. Kafula is looking forward to completing school.
As I've reached grade 12, I'm pushing to qualify my grade 12 so that I can attain my goal. Yes, to keep my family warm and our nation, Zambia. Then I give gratitude to our president for allowing us to go back to school, because it is very difficult if you are a woman which is not educated.
One of her daughters, Matilda Mwansa, was not for the idea of her mother going back to school.
I wasn't really in support of it because I thought she wouldn't manage because of the distance and everything.
But now she is proud of her mother for making the decision to go back to school.
I feel good about it. I'm proud because she's like finishing. She's finishing, so I bet she's accomplished what she wanted. So I'm really proud of her.
While adult learning has been running for quite some time, more people are said to be going back to school now because of free education. Mombeha Movola, ZNBC News, Livingstone.
Dear colleagues, there we are. Vincent, maybe you made a little bit of your point earlier when we just opened the program. Yeah. Maybe we hear from Grace, a woman there.
Okay, that is a good step that she took for herself, because looking at the pace at which the world is moving and the way we're moving digital currently. So it is important that everyone is learned on how are you going to cope up. You will be considered not worth living because you feel left out all the time, you know. So that was a decision that she took for her to go back to school. So you asked me when I was starting if I were to go back to school. I first start with what Vincent said. He said it first has to start with her, because in as much as I would have all the reasons why she should go to school, if she doesn't feel that I'm talking, that's with themselves and seeing the importance of them going to school, then you come in and encourage them and all that. So I would encourage my mother to go back to school because it's a good take, because it's going to benefit her in one way. Know how to read. She might be given.
I don't think it should be that way, because I think education should make things easier for the people that are educated to maneuver around. You know, if for instance you are hustling to reach that level, even the interactions with the people that
will be a certain class.
A certain class that is going to help you even to reach certain levels. Yeah.
Just to add on what he was just saying, I think it will actually let the way they understand the things you're talking about. You'll be able to see, okay, this one has gone through school, but when people don't really have that knowledge from school, they'll find everything as offensive. You're trying to say, okay, this is what this person is trying to put across. Yeah.
So I agree with the points you are making, but one thing to point out again is that education at some point is looked at to go to school, but you'll find that there's this challenge of we have no reason of some people staying away if they feel like I can go back to school, because like we've heard from the woman, it is free education. So it is just her having a uniform, and how I wish that maybe even the issue of a uniform for the elders can be done away with, so that to the public and not what the public will be like, yeah. So they go to school and learn, because looking at our country, indeed, if we have more people who at least have been to school, they say education aids a nation to development, actually, because they're thinking this language of, we are going to build a bridge here. You see what I mean? Yeah, so meaning most of the times we are given lies because we can't think through what people are saying. We can't analyze, we can't do this. But with education, at least, even the thinking changes, even the types of debates you have, they do change. So that's a good step that that woman has taken, and I think we need to encourage some more, wherever they are, if there are schools that are providing education for the adults.
But again, I think it doesn't just have to be a formal school. At the end of the day, I think education should also happen in families. Here is a informal way. Yeah, in an informal way. Here is an old woman who cannot even go to school. I mean, they feel school is for children, but they still want to learn the British language so that they communicate better with the other people. So that can happen even in homes, and even the little mathematics and so on can happen in homes. So I think education at the end of the day should not be something that is done in a classroom. You go miles and so on, wear uniform, pay tuition fees and so on. It can also happen in homes. We have our children who have maybe some of them are even teachers. They can even take a syllabus that is done at a secondary school level, and they take it to your grandmother and so on, and the grandmother gets the education that they need. So I think for me, we all need the education, and like I said, it helps people to interact even better and have the wider knowledge of what is happening around them.
Okay, so now talking about education, I think the environment and everything else when one goes to school has to be conducive. Yet we have a video of a condition that is happening at one of the schools in Chipepo, where there is some kind of a strange disease. Let us look at this clip, and then later on we'll pick it up from there.
This is Chipepo Secondary Boarding School in Kapirimposhi district, which is making rounds on social media following reports of what some thought is a strange disease where some girls exhibit abnormal movements. Central Province Director of Health Elijah Mtoloki has led Provincial Permanent Secretary at the Institution of Learning. Provincial Education Officer Mambeham Dudu says some of the affected girls have been withdrawn from the school.
We have 36 children, girls, who were taken by their parents. Some were taken unwell, some were taken well out of fear. So today, as we speak, there are 6 children who are not well, 2 are new cases, and 4 were carried over from yesterday.
Dr. Mtoloki says the disease affecting the girls is not strange, as it has been recorded in some parts of the country, describing it as a psychological disorder, as all the affected girls are medically fit.
We did all the necessary investigations. We did the psychological investigations, medical investigations. We took blood samples, stool, urine, all these tests we managed to take those samples. And I can categorically say that after all these investigations, we couldn't find any medical cause of the problem. So for now, what we are considering it is as a mass psychogenic illness, which is sometimes called...
The Permanent Secretary has interacted with the pupils and parents, emphasizing the need for psychological support.
This is a psychological thing. Ourselves as teachers, we tell young learners psychologically to do certain things. We get videos, we circulate throughout. Who gives phones? Here, Chipepo.
Chupekile Nkunika Fusanis in Kapirimposhi.
Okay, so dear viewers and colleagues, that is what is happening at Chipepo. And like we heard in the video, it is not the first time that such a thing is happening. It was recorded some time back at Lunte Secondary School, and at another school should be Winlunga, where learners could walk in a staggering way, like doing the popular dance or the famous dance, break dance, something like that, if you remember. But we are told this is a strange disease and it's psychological. I don't know what your take is.
Okay, just like it was said that those pupils were actually physically fit, and the condition they have, it is a psychological a condition which the cause is not yet established. Even when you check on the internet, this disorder hasn't yet been diagnosed what the causes are. So meaning it will still come because we don't know where it's coming from, and then these girls are actually going through it. So I'm sure even them, it's going to have a negative impact on their lives as they grow, having such a condition. They'll be scared, like maybe to come back again even after the treatment, because medical reports state that the causes of this disorder is not yet established. So it still leaves a question mark, and it still leaves more questions. And the fact that it has been coming and going, it's really a serious concern. Yeah.
Vincent?
Well, I think a lot of questions there to be asked, and saying it is imagination or something. Are the children imagining too much and ending up in? Of course, they're also trying to rule out anything that maybe biologically or something like a disease or something. Not for the first time it was psychological elsewhere. It is also psychological now. It will be psychological even in the next 2-3 years that to come. I don't know. For me, I think we need to be serious. Really, the cause. If we have failed, I think there are other people that can help us. Let's take the samples to somewhere else. And psychologically, I don't think it is correct to say it is psychological. I mean, it should be explained. Why is it happening to young ones? Because we haven't seen old people having such kind of a situation. Why is it happening to young ones? And it is a certain age group. So I think we need the samples to be taken to people that are going to give us the correct.
But suffice to say that indeed we, as a country and medical Ministry of Health, we need to be serious. When such things happen, we need to think, if it was my child in that situation, what will I do? How will I feel? What's the comments are not in urban towns, something like that. So indeed, something serious needs to be done about that, and the matter has to come to an end. In the interest of time, we are running short of time. Vincent, something is happening with under 17. They've already qualified to the World Cup. I'm proud to say the coach is my former classmate, Ian Bakala. Okay. Yeah, and he's doing good work.
Good to hear that. I think it's really good that they have qualified for the World Cup, and they're doing this for the first time in history. Zambia has never qualified to the Africa Cup, and of course your friend Ian Bakala has made it possible at this level. And at the quarterfinals, they'll be playing against Burkina Faso today at 18 hours. Important game. Burkina Faso is one of the very strongest teams at the tournament so far. They have played all the games without losing a game. They were in Group B, where there was South Africa, Egypt, and Cameroon, and they came as tops, South Africa. And so they are a very, very strong side. But I think this game is going to be interesting because, of course, Zambia has achieved what they have never achieved before. And they should go in this game, not go there with a lot of pressure, because, I mean, I think they have achieved what many other teams at under 17 level have failed to achieve. So if they go with without pressure in this game, I think they can surprise everyone else and qualify to the semi-finals. And of course, this will be his goal to the semi-finals, and maybe, who knows, even the finals, and win it. And that will be a very
in Europe, the last 4 teams G, and it was a loss to Aston Villa, 3-1 to PSV, and then Dortmund, Barcelona, it was Inter Milan versus Bayern. I think Inter got it 2-1, and then what was thought to be maybe the big one, so the Gunners versus Real Madrid, and it went in favor of the Gunners 3-0. We expect the return matches to begin on the 16th of April, and see who goes through to, is it the semis? Yeah. Yes, the 3 of us, dear viewers, for today, it is that we end.